Welcome back to Brandon Sports, everybody. Hope you have an amazing day. Here to give you guys my reaction to the NFL Conference Championship game. In the AFC Championship game, we had the New England Patriots at the Broncos. And in the NFC Championship game, we had the Los Angeles Rams at the Seattle Seahawks. Before we get into my reaction, please hit that like button, subscribe button to the channel for more great content coming up. Share with your friends and family so we can help the channel continue to grow. Now, my first overall thoughts about these two games were the first game was pretty boring, I'm not going to lie. I kind of don't want to treat it like it's WWE, but how can you not? This game was completely boring. I watched both games in its entirety. The game was very, very slow, and I told you guys that in this Patriots and Broncos game, in my preview predictions, that this game would not be a shootout, that this game would be a defensive game, and it really was a defensive game. And before we get into the breakdown of the game and the stats and go over that, the one thing that I don't want the NFL to do is put all of these outside teams in stadiums. I've always been a proponent of some teams have outside stadiums because you don't want every single game to look generic and boring and no weather or anything. But this AFC Championship takes the cake. I don't know about this weather being like this. I don't know, man. It was good at the first half, but the second half, towards the third quarter, everything just started to truly go down after that with the weather. But the Denver Broncos are getting a dome stadium. Cleveland's getting a dome. A lot of these teams that are outside are going to be inside by 2030 or 31. I know the Kansas City Chiefs are getting a indoor stadium, so they're going to be inside. So a lot of these games are going to be inside. The Chargers already inside in that division alone. The AFC West, the Chargers inside, plus they play in LA, so it's not really that much of a difference. The Kansas City Chiefs are getting a new stadium, so they're going to be inside. Denver's getting a new stadium, so they're going to be inside. And then the Raiders are already in Vegas, and it's hot, so they're going to be inside too. So this entire division used to play outside, and now they're all going to be inside. So again, the league probably saw this game and said, you know what? I'm glad we're building all of these dome stadiums because this is it. This is probably one of the worst AFC Championship games that was played. But again, it's football. You know, the elements matter and everything else like that. But just watching this game, I was like, man, I know Roger Goodell and I know everybody else who's with Roger Goodell and his team. It's like, man, we cannot wait for Denver to get their new arena, their new stadium and everything. But again, it was a decent game. Like, again, it was a defensive game. They couldn't really do nothing. Both of these quarterbacks didn't really do anything. Drake May made more plays, obviously, because he's a starter. He's a starting quarterback, so he's going to make more plays with his legs. But again, this was just really a defensive game like I predicted, but I didn't know it was going to be this bad in terms of both offenses actually trying to get going. But those are my overall thoughts about these two. About the first game was basically, it was defensive heavy and the weather contributed a major factor. And in the second game, you couldn't really ask for anything else. It was a high scoring game, so I really had no problem with that second game. But the first game was a very, very, you can say, boring game. It was defense, I get it, but again, it was alright. So we start off with the New England Patriots at the Denver Broncos. Now for me, again, I told you guys that Drake May and Jarrett Stidham, even though he's a backup, didn't really do anything. We're going to start off with Jarrett Stidham, basically the losing team, 17 of 31 for 133 yards, 4.3 average. He had a touchdown in the first quarter, basically in the beginning of the game. Looked like he was going to have a strong game after that, but it just went downhill. Ever since that touchdown, and went downhill. R.J. Harvey, 13 attempts for 37 yards, 2.8 average. He couldn't really run the ball, and I said, against this New England team, he's not going to run the ball. They couldn't really run the ball without J.K. Dobbins when he was hurt. So the fact that R.J. Harvey, he had one really nice run, but other than that, 2.8 average is not really that great. Jarrett Stidham, 4 carries, 23 yards. Your quarterback is second in carries, which is not good. The same thing with the Patriots. So both teams wound up having their quarterbacks being second in carries. Again, this was not really a great game by Denver. Their defense really did show up. They got 5 quarterback sacks on Drake May. He took a lot of sacks, which I'll get to in a minute. But Jarrett Stidham in that first quarter, he looked good, and everything else went downhill from there. Cortland Sutton had that nice touchdown. He had 3 catches, 17 yards, and a touchdown. He had 5 targets. Marvin Mims had a nice catch in the first quarter when he basically ran past Christian Gonzalez. He ran right past him and caught that pass. It was a nice throw by Jarrett Stidham. Again, that first quarter was good, but the second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter was basically a shutout by New England because they couldn't control the elements outside, and I get it. Listen, it's a snowy game. The weather is basically messed up, but for this team, Denver, I knew they couldn't run the ball. That was the one thing I said, they could not run the ball. I didn't know the weather was going to snow like this over there that badly to affect the game. I knew, obviously, the weather is messed up right now everywhere, but I'm like, man, if we play the first quarter like this and the game just stays like this, then maybe it would have been a much better game. But again, they got shut out the entire game. They didn't score not 1 point after. And the one thing I know Sean Payton is kicking himself about, and this is why you have kickers, even though people don't like kickers when it comes down to game-winning field goals and they miss, the reason why you have field goal kickers is because you had a chance to take 3 points heading into the halftime, and it would have been 10-7, Denver. Because the Patriots scored 7 points in the second quarter, which have been 7 points scored in the entire half. They shut out New England in the first quarter. You give them credit for that. But then the first quarter, you score 7 points, then you come back with nothing. So now it's tied at the half 7-7 instead of it being 7-10 because Sean Payton didn't kick that field goal and take the 3 points. He went for it and they didn't get it. It's just like, what's the point of continuously having a kicker, especially if you're close or whatever it is. But again, he should have taken the points. It should have been 10-7 going into the half with you having your momentum, even if the weather's going to get worse. And the fact that he didn't take the points when the weather was not that bad at that particular time to be able to kick that field goal, I'm sitting there wondering, like, man, the weather is pretty good. The weather's going to get worse in the game, and you don't kick the field goal. That was a costly mistake, and that's coaching, and that's him. To me, I don't know if he went with analytics. I don't know what it was, but man, that was not good. He should have kicked that field goal and got the 10 points and leading, because now you're going to have time to lead, knowing that, hey man, the weather's going to get worse, guys. We have to try something else, or we have to be better. And for him to do that, that basically pretty much sealed their fate. When he didn't kick that field goal, that sealed their fate, because after that, Jarrett Stidham had a fumble in this game and he lost it. And then after that, he threw the game-stealing interception. Listen, I didn't expect anything from him, and you got one touchdown. You was lucky enough to get a touchdown on him. Again, Bo Nix getting hurt. It was unfortunate. Even if he would have played in this game, people say, well, if Bo Nix would have played in this game, the Patriots would have lost. I don't think so, because this weather was not great, and Bo Nix, he played well in the last game against Buffalo. But other than that, he needed the fourth quarter to basically do a comeback. The first 3 quarters, sometimes he would not play well. Remember in the regular season, when in the first 3 quarters he wouldn't play well, in the fourth quarter he would have a comeback, and his stats would look nice because that fourth quarter he would come back. In this situation, in this weather, I don't think it would have been the same to me, the same result. Now, a little bit, obviously, better play, obviously. I'm not trying to say that him and Jarrett Stidham are the same thing. But Bo Nix being there, it would have made a huge difference. Confidence and morale of the team. However, because of the weather, I still think that it would have been a tough defensive fight for Bo Nix in this game. I'm not trying to say that it would have been the same quarterback play overall, but the game would have still been tough, if that makes sense to everybody. The game would have been tough, and the outcome to me would be the same because of how tough the game would have been. Now, would Bo Nix have made more plays? Absolutely. Would Bo Nix have been better running the ball when there was nobody open downfield because of the inclement weather? Absolutely. But I still think the Patriots was going to win this game. Even if Bo Nix would have played, I still was picking the Patriots. The Patriots had no excuse to lose this game. They were 8-0 on the road, and now they're 9-0 on the road. And I told you guys, that's important. The Patriots being undefeated on the road was the most important thing in this game coming in. I'm like, you have not lost a road game this entire year. That puts the odds in their favor, even though Denver's at home and the weather and different things like that. But the Patriots play outside in the cold too. But for me, again, the Patriots, they didn't do nothing really fancy. Their defense played well. Bo Nix, we'll get to him. But again, that's all you could ask for Jarrett Stidham, is to just go out there and do what he did. And it was what it was, man. Listen, we know they didn't really have a shot with Jarrett Stidham. With Bo Nix, they would have had a better chance. But again, I still think they would have lost no matter what. Bo Nix would have been fully healthy. I think they still would have lost. But I don't know. You just Jarrett Stidham ain't play well, but you give him credit for at least trying. He ain't throw a pass since 2023. It's 2026, y'all. So again, Denver Broncos defense played phenomenal. Not another waste. People say another wasted defense, but the quarterback was out. So again, imagine how you guys would have felt if the Denver Broncos would have won this game and you guys went to the Super Bowl with Jarrett Stidham going up against the Seattle Seahawks defense. You guys would have been even more frustrated at Jarrett Stidham. So again, nobody expected Denver to get here. You got to give them their hat off and kudos to actually being here and getting here to the AFC Championship game, because nobody expected Denver to be in the AFC Championship. Listen, Bo Nix wasn't available for this game. Again, praise up for him and the surgery. Hopefully he'll be back to start next season. Obviously he should be, but again, this was a nice run by Denver. Sean Payton, that field goal basically cost you the game. So we move on to the New England Patriots. Drake May was 10 of 21 at 86 yards and 4.1 average. It's the same thing. He had less yards than Jarrett Stidham, but he made a lot of plays with his legs. He had 10 carries, 65 yards, and a touchdown with his legs. He didn't fumble in this game. He didn't have a turnover. He didn't get an interception, which was absolutely nice to see. And people are going to say, well, he hasn't played well this entire playoffs. Well, he played against a great defense this entire run. The Chargers defense is great. I don't care about, the Chargers offense couldn't score, but he still has to go out there and play against a defense. You have to give him his credit. You go out there and play a defense, it's going to be hard to win, but at the same time, and people are going to say, well, Matthew Stafford played against a tough defense and he threw all those yardage. Well, Matthew Stafford ain't play outside in no blizzard or inclement weather. He didn't have to do that. And by the way, Matthew Stafford against the Panthers and against the Chicago Bears didn't really play great defenses, and the games came down to the wire for both of them. At least Drake May played top 10 defenses. A Chargers team, top 10 defense. Houston, top 10 defense. Denver, top 10 defense. And then now, when he goes to face Seattle in the Super Bowl, another top 10 defense. So even if Drake May didn't play well throwing the football, he had a nice run. He took way too many sacks. There was one time he was just standing there, and he took a sack. And by the way, Josh McDaniels, when you guys are on a goal line and you get to snap the ball, you do a fake snap. He turns his back, and then the running back standing there tries to go make a rush attempt, and he makes the rush attempt, and he basically stands there, then he runs, and he messes it all up. And I'm like, man, what are we doing? Why are you calling that play when the snow is coming down and the inclement weather is so bad that nobody could see deep down the field? Drake May had a nice throw to Matt Collins down the field, which I thought was a very, very nice catch by Matt Collins. He had 2 catches in this game for 51 yards on 2 targets. Again, no throwing touchdown. Stephon Diggs had 5 catches for 17 yards. Hunter Henry had 2 catches for 12 yards. Keshawn Boutte had 6 targets, only 1 catch. That's how bad the game was when it comes to throwing down the field. Ramondre Stevenson had 25 carries for 71 yards, 2.8 average. Drake May, 10 carries for 65 yards and a touchdown. So again, he played well with his feet and his legs and did what he did to win the game. He made more plays with his legs because he made a nice throw to Matt Collins, which was a nice throw, but he made more plays with his legs. And again, you got to give him his credit. Now, listen, he didn't play the best game. I'm not up here trying to cape for him like, oh, he played a great game, so he's MVP. No, I said he's the MVP of the regular season. In these playoffs, his numbers hasn't looked great, but he's played against tough defense. You can say, well, they had the easiest schedule. Well, they also were a last-place team last year without Josh McDaniels and Mike Vrabel. And Drake May was on that team, too. Him and Jacoby Brissett were the quarterback of that team, and they were horrible. You spend over $80 to $100 million on your defense, and then you bring in Josh McDaniels to come back and be your OC. You bring in Mike Vrabel. You sign Milton Williams. You get better on the defense side of the ball, and you bring in Stephon Diggs. So you can't get mad at them having an easy schedule when they were a 4th-place team. The Patriots were a 4th-place team last year. They won 14 games this year. They're 14-3 this year in the regular season. They had won 4 games last year. That's a huge turnaround for a team. And 2 teams in the Super Bowl didn't make the playoffs last year. They were a last-place team in their division, and now they're in the Super Bowl. So again, you have to give Mike Vrabel his credit for this game and the way that this defense played, and you have to give Drake May his credit for making plays with his feet. Again, not his arm, although he had a nice throw to Matt Collins, but he made plays with his legs and got first downs and did enough for them to win this game. Again, it was all about the defense. I told you guys it was a defensive game. However, I'm going to give Drake May his credit for the plays that he did make that basically changed the game. Getting those first downs, the throw to Matt Collins, and that touchdown run, because without that touchdown run, if he doesn't score that touchdown with his legs, they don't win. It's the defense. The defense showed up. I told you guys, defensive game in this game. The only thing was bad about the game was the inclement weather in the second half. Because I'm like, listen, you coming out, it's a defensive game. In the second half, I know it's going to be much better. And the Patriots only scored 3 points in the 3rd quarter. And after that, that was it. Their defense did a phenomenal job. Again, it's all about the defense in these games. The quarterbacks ain't have great games. You give Drake May credit again for making plays with his legs. But this is all about defense. Defense wins championships. This is all about the New England Patriots and the defense and the way Mike Vrabel has been coaching this team this entire year. I'm not going to take anything away from the Patriots. I don't care if they play the last place schedule. You still got to the dance. And guess what? You still played against tough defenses. You still won. You went up against the Chargers. They didn't have no offense. Guess what? Your offense, Will Campbell, I don't know, man. You got to get it together, bro. Especially you going to the Super Bowl. You have to get it together. They're going to pick you apart. And that's when I said they have to continuously blitz and go up against this Patriots team and target their left tackle. Because the Patriots left tackle, you got to continuously target him because he just doesn't play well when opportunity serves itself. He has been basically a little bit lackluster. Hopefully he gets better with his career. That's not to beat him up or put him down. That's just a self-awareness thing for him. And this is all about the New England Patriots and that defense. Denver Broncos defense played well. They couldn't get enough on the offense. Drake May did just enough to be able to get those 3 points and win this game. Again, the Patriots win 10-7 against Denver. It was a defensive game, a shutout by the Patriots in the second, third, and fourth quarter. In the second quarter, the Patriots scored 7 points, and in the third quarter, they scored 3 points, and that was it. Drake May made a nice play at the end, and Christian Gonzalez had the game-winning interception. The New England Patriots are going to the Super Bowl once again. Next up, we had the Los Angeles Rams at the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks win this game 31-27. In the first quarter, the Rams scored 3 points. Second quarter, 10 points. Then 14 points in the third quarter. They didn't score any points in the fourth quarter. They scored 27 points in total. Seattle scored 10 points in the first quarter, 7 points in the second quarter. In the third quarter, they scored 14 points as well, and they scored 0 points in that fourth quarter. The score was 31-27. Sam Darnold, we're going to start off with him. 25 of 36, 346 yards, 9.6 average per throw. 3 touchdowns in this game. He's only sacked 3 times, which was, for me, I'm like, oh man, the Rams defense actually really getting after him. Kenneth Walker, 19 carries for 62 yards and a touchdown. He had a nice run in this game. I thought it was a very, very nice run from him. Jackson Smith-Njigba had 12 targets. He caught the ball 10 times for 153 yards and a touchdown. Rashica, he had a nice catch. He had 3 targets, but he had a nice catch for 51 yards that basically broke out and broke the game for them. Cooper Kupp, 4 catches, 36 yards, and a nice touchdown catch. And a nice throw by Sam Darnold, but a nice touchdown catch from Cooper Kupp. 4 catches again, 36 yards and touchdown. And then you had Jake Boo-Boo for 1 catch for 17 yards and a touchdown, basically in the back of the end zone from Sam Darnold. This was Sam Darnold's best game in his career, season high, 346 yards passing in this game. I thought this was great by Sam Darnold. He did not turn the football over in this game at all. No interceptions. And I said the Rams had to win this game, even though he did fumble, but again, he recovered his own fumble. But I told you guys the Rams had to win this game. But this is all about Seattle. Their defense showed up. Now, the one thing I'm shocked by, their defense only got 1 sack. They, to me, best defense right now, left in the playoffs, obviously. I think their defense plays a little bit better than the New England Patriots. But again, only 1 sack on Matthew Stafford, which was shocking to me. I thought they were going to have more sacks. Sam Darnold was sacked more times than Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford was 22 of 35, 374 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was sacked 1 time, 10.7 average per throw. Again, he played well enough. Blake Corum, 9 carries, 55 yards, 6.1 average. Kyron Williams, 10 carries for 39 yards, 3.9 average. Puka Nacua, 9 receptions for 165 yards and touchdown on 14 targets. Devontae Adams, 6 targets, 4 catches for 89 yards and a touchdown. Again, Kyron Williams, 2 catches, 22 yards and a touchdown on 2 targets. Again, I can't blame Matthew Stafford. The only thing I can say is that even though he threw a little bit more yardage than Sam Darnold outplayed Matthew Stafford. They both had 3 touchdowns, but the plays that Sam Darnold made in this game and the throws that he made, he had 1 nice throw. He had 2 nice throws. But the 1 nice throw that I'm looking at, I'm like, man, Jackson Smith-Njigba, he just runs up and catches the ball and just brings it down. That was a nice catch from Jackson Smith-Njigba. Again, Sam Darnold was phenomenal in this game. I have no criticism of him in this game. You can say the fumble, but it is what it is. Matthew Stafford fumbled the ball as well, and his offensive lineman recovered it for him too. Sam Darnold fumbled he recovered it himself, but his offensive lineman for Matthew Stafford recovered the ball. Listen, I was going to come on here and criticize Matthew Stafford and go in on him for losing this game because he is presumptive to be the MVP. Again, listen, I know the special teams made a bad play. He caught the ball and basically fumbled it. He turned the ball over, and then he scored. That was bad. And by the way, Reek Wooden goes in there and has a taunting play, and the taunting play that he has is 4th down and damn near 12, and you get a taunting play, and as soon as that taunting play is over, the Seattle Seahawks are pushed back to the goal line, and they get the first goal, and they throw a touchdown. And if the Seattle Seahawks would have lost this game, that would have been on you, Reek Wooden. That would have been on you if they would have lost this game because of your unsportsmanlike conduct. I don't know what you were doing, continuously bragging. You could yell and scream, but go back and run. You know this is going to cost you valuable field position. I know the game's over already, but I'm just saying it in the moment. I'm saying this like, yo, what are you doing? You're ruining the game for somebody else because if you guys lose now, it's all going to be on you. People going to be on your case, which we don't condone any cyberbullying whatsoever, but people are going to be on your case about you costing this team the game. Again, you guys are lucky that you guys came back and won. Not lucky, but you're lucky that it didn't affect everything going down or going forward. But again, Sam Darnold was great in this game. I was going to come on here and criticize Matthew Stafford. The only thing that you criticize him is that he didn't get that 4th down play that they called. They went for it on 4th down and he didn't get it, and they basically turned the ball over on down. But other than that, Matthew Stafford played MVP year. Special teams was messed up. The defense, again, I told you guys in my preview predictions, what did I say? I said that for this Seahawks team to be able to win this game, that the Rams corners were weak and they could be had. Not weak as in individuals and human beings. I'm just saying as their play. They could be had. That was the one thing I said. If you go back to my predictions, I said that the Seattle Seahawks, if they want to win, they have to target the Rams corners because the Rams corners are what? They could be had. They're not that great. And what was happening? Jackson Smith-Njigba, 12 targets. He had 10 catches. He's going to win Offensive Player of the Year. And by the way, then now because Drake May is on the Offensive Player of the Year ballot, they're probably going to give it to him if Matthew Stafford wins MVP, even though I keep trying to tell you guys that Drake May, to me, is the NFL MVP because he did more or less. And now, even though it doesn't matter for the postseason, but he did get the Super Bowl, but that doesn't matter. Again, I'm not going to come up here and blame Matthew Stafford for this loss, but as an MVP, people are going to say you're going to have to win this game no matter what. Even though your special team turns the ball over and they make a huge mistake, you still got to win. So is he responsible for like about 5%? Yeah, maybe. You didn't get the fourth down conversion. Your special teams messed up everything. You came down certain drives that you didn't convert on. But again, I'm not coming here and just kick his back in and throw him down with the trash and anything like that. But again, Matthew Stafford, they lose his game in which I expected them to win because I'm like, there's no excuses for him. There was no excuses. You have everybody. Everybody's healthy. Zach Charbonnet was out for the Seattle Seahawks. They was missing their second running back in their backfield. Kenneth Walker played well. He had a nice run. He had a touchdown in his game. But you had Blake Corum and Kyron Williams. You had both of your running backs. You had both of your wide receivers. The Seattle Seahawks had their wide receivers. They was missing a running back, and they still won. Again, I give all the credit to Seattle Seahawks and his team. 31-27. Again, I thought the Rams were going to win because Matthew Stafford was everybody's alleged MVP. And for me, I said myself, there is no excuses for him in this game. Does he get an excuse for this? No. His special teams is the only excuse that you can say. But other than that, no. Are we going to blame him? No. We're not going to blame him at all. But going forward, Seattle Seahawks beat the Rams. In 2 weeks from now, basically, we're going to get the Seattle Seahawks versus the New England Patriots in a rematch for Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara. But all in all, I thought this was a great game. This game really made up for that first game being so bad defensively. Again, Sam Darnold played out of his mind in this game. No turnovers. Again, he fumbled the ball, but he recovered it. No turnovers, 3 touchdowns, 346 passing yards, and he was phenomenal. I have no criticism of him at all. I have no criticism of Matthew Stafford, only except for the fourth down play and kicking a field goal. Instead of going for it on fourth down, you kick the field goal. Now it's 30-31. You're 1 point away, whatever the case may be. So you should kick the field goal. This is pretty even. I told you guys, both of these teams are going to come in here pretty even. The only thing that Seattle would have less than the Rams, which is one of their running backs, was this Charbonnet, and he's on IR. And that's the first thing I read when you go back to that predictions I put. Zach Charbonnet, he's out. He's on IR. So that's one less piece. But again, both of these teams are evenly matched. The only thing that it came for with the defense was for the Rams was their corners, again, not being that great. But for me, the better team won. I picked the Rams. I don't care. It is what it is. I have no dog in the fight. But the Seattle Seahawks win. Again, the Patriots versus Seahawks for the Super Bowl 60 on February the 8th. Tremendous respect to the Seattle Seahawks for winning this game. Tremendous respect for the Patriots for getting out that game. I told you guys, by the way, the Patriots had no excuses to lose either. But again, both teams did enough to win. Seattle Seahawks played a phenomenal game. The Patriots got enough to basically win their game. The Seattle Seahawks beat the Rams 31-27. Alright guys, let me know how you feel in the comment section down below about my review. If I'm missing something, please let me know in the comment section down below. Be a part of the conversation. Comment down below how you guys feel as a Broncos fan about your team losing. Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know as a Patriots fan how you feel about your team headed back to another Super Bowl. If you are a Seattle Seahawks fan, let me know how you feel about your team winning this game and going back to the Super Bowl. And if you are a Rams fan, let me know how you feel about your team losing in this football game. Unless you're just a fan of football or you want to be a part of the discussion, let me know in the comment section down below how you guys felt about Conference Championship Weekend. Please share the video, share with your friends and family, let them know about the channel, let them know that there's great content on the channel and there will be more great content headed your way. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more great content headed your way. Until next time guys, see you real soon.